Sam starts us off with a tapped Sunken Hollow. John plays a tapped Fury Calm Snarl. Tom plays a Forest. Extra also plays a Forest and adds a Birds of Paradise. Then passes to Sam. Sam plays an Island and a Warkite Marauder. Then passes. John plays a Game Trail, revealing Stomping Ground to have it come in untapped, and casts Wall of Omens, triggering its effect to draw a card. He also passes. Tom plays a Sunbellow Grove and casts Incubation Druid, before passing to Extra. Extra's only play is a tapped Dreamroot Cascade, before passing it back to Sam. Sam plays a Seer Step Pathway for turn, then taps out for a Corsair Captain, triggering its effect to make a treasure. He then attacks Tom with Warkite Marauder, triggering its effect, making Tom's Druid a 0/1. The damage goes through, and the turn is passed to John. John first casts Impact Tremors. He then plays a tapped Temple Garden and passes the turn. Tom plays a Forest for turn, then casts his commander, Sovereign Okinec AHAU, and passes to Extra. Extra starts with a Tezzeret's Gambit, paying 2 life in order to draw 2. After finally finding a land, he plays a Rejuvenating Springs and gives the turn back to Sam. Sam plays a Blood Crypt, paying 2 life to have it enter untapped. He casts Port Razor and immediately goes to combat, attacking Tom with Warkite Marauder and Extra with Corsair. With neither player able to block, the damage is dealt, and the turn moves to John. John plays a Stomping Ground for turn, also paying 2 life. He then casts Molten Echoes, naming Dinosaur, and passes. Tom first casts Gyre Sage, followed by a Stonecoil Serpent for X=2, which upon entering, triggers Gyre Sage, having it gain a 1/1 counter. Tom then attacks Extra with a Howl, triggering his effect to add counters to both Stonecoil and Gyre Sage. After that, he passes. Extra plays an Island for turn, and finally adds to his board with a Tendershoot Dryad. On Sam's upkeep, Tendershoot goes into action, making a Sapperling for Extra. Sam then casts Dire Fleet Neckbreaker and plays a tapped Frostboil Snarl. Before going to one of his potentially many combats, he attacks John with Corsair and Tom with Port Razor and Marauder, triggering Marauder to make Sage a 0/1. With no blocks, Port Razor triggers, untapping all his creatures, and going to combat again, this time with Port Razor attacking John, while Marauder and Corsair attack Extra. This again triggers Marauder, targeting Tendershoot. John decides to be the bigger man, and blocks Port Razor with his wall, and a Sapperling token blocks Corsair. After all that combat, the turn goes to John. On John's upkeep, Tendershoot triggers again, making another Sapperling. He plays a Forest, and finally casts his commander, Pantlaza, Sun Favored. This triggers Molten Echoes, making a copy of Pantlaza. With this, Impact Tremors triggers twice, dealing 2 damage to all of his opponents, and Pantlaza also triggers twice. On the first resolution, John discovers and casts Justicar's Portal on Pantlaza, dealing 2 more damage with Tremors, and adding 2 triggers of Pantlaza onto the stack. The second trigger resolves, this time casting Glimmerpoint Stag, which exiles Pantlaza until end of turn, while also triggering Impact Tremors. The third trigger resolves, casting Passionate Archaeologist, while the final trigger casts Felidar Guardian, who on ETB blinks Stag, triggering Tremors 2 more times, and having Stag exile Felidar until end of turn. On end of turn, Pantlaza is the first to return, again triggering Echoes, Impact Tremors, and itself. On the first resolution, John discovers and casts Preston the Banisher. This triggers Archaeologist, hitting Sam for 4, and Tremors. The second trigger resolves, casting Topiary Stomper, who due to Echoes triggering, deals 2 damage with Tremors, and goes and finds 2 tapped planes. At this time, Felidar returns, and the rest of the table gets hit with a realization that the next turn will not be in their future. as due to Felidar returning, Preston triggers, making a copy of said Felidar, which is able to immediately blink the original, making another Preston copy. With this and Impact Tremors, he is able to take out the rest of the table and crown himself the winner.